What's going on, guys? Let's see. Oh man, we have a for sale by owner goat joining the the Zoom. Got me a little nervous now. Alexis. Good morning to everybody. I'll give maybe about 5-10 minutes for any late stragglers to join the Zoom, and then we'll go ahead and get started, guys. Can everybody hear me okay? Somebody respond. Anybody?
Yes, we can hear you. I can hear you. Good morning. This is Dagmara.
Hi, how are you, Dagmara?
I'm well. Excited to be here.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. Alexis can hear me. Hopefully he's not critiquing me the whole time. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, while we wait I see people are still joining in little by little. I'll give it a few more minutes. While we wait, is other than Alexis, because I already know his story, anyone else here, call for sale by owners on the regular, or you've tried it, or you've been thinking about it? Anybody?
Hear me?
Who's that?
I'm
I can
getting
hear.
old, so I look like
It's okay. I'm trying to see who's talking.
I've tried, but it was very scary. They seem very angry.
Yeah. For sale by owners of calling for sale by owners is like that big bad wolf in real estate that a lot of new agents think about it and think about reaching out to them, and they see, for a while I saw the success that other realtors were having, with for sale by owner listings and stuff like that. And then, but it is, you can, depending on how you think about it, you can psych yourself out of making calls, but just like everything, it takes practice, it takes time to get good at it, to understand, just psychology, really, to understand people's behaviors. There are different categories of for sale by owners. You have the ones that are really don't have any motivation, and they're just putting their house on the market just to see what happens. And they don't care if they sell or not. They don't even have anywhere to go if they do sell. They're just putting it on the market just to see, if they would get any traffic. And, those are the type of sellers that really you want to stay away from, in my opinion. If the motivation is not there, then you're just going to continue wasting your time with follow-up and stuff like that. So, some, like you said, some are scary. Scary in the sense you get stuck as to what to say. Yeah, Dagmara, I completely agree with you. At the beginning, I would even to this day, I mean, I'm not perfect, I call a lot of for sale by owners. I called probably about 75 of them yesterday, just because I have an auto dialer. And it till this day, I can get tripped up, but again, you get better with practice. Wow, there's quite a bit of people joining now. Cool. I'm going to wait a few more minutes. See if anybody else joins. Anybody else have experience with calling for sale by owners in here?
I called one that just happened to be in my neighborhood, and I thought I'd give it a try. I hadn't really practiced before, so I definitely got tripped up, and they were just very adamant that they didn't want a realtor. And that's why I wanted to take the class, so I could, deal with those objections.
Yeah. I need to figure out how to find out who's talking when they're talking to me. Or if you could just tell me your name before you respond.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you, Noel? It's Jenny from Lake Nona.
What's up, Jenny? How are you?
Good. I love this training that you're doing here because I am trying to become a FISBO pro. That was like my choice, of cold calling for a while. And I've tried to just every day master it a little bit. So I've been able to convert a few. I think it's all out of luck though, because, I'm not doing anything I don't have like a protocol or anything specifically. It's just a lot of follow-up. But I have been able to.
But hold on really quick. First of all, you got to give yourself credit where it's due. Okay. Nothing, it's not just luck. Unless you're someone like, Levon Beck, where listings just fall out of the sky, and then, or you have a very strong referral business as he does, but it's not luck. You called, okay, you had the conversation, you set the appointment, okay, you followed up, and you got the listings that you've gotten. So it's work, you're creating your own luck, but it's not, Sure. You got to give yourself credit where it's due. And I know Jennifer from Lake Nona, I've known her for several years now. And, we used to battle with our appointments, and call buyer leads and seller leads and stuff like that, and see who's going to get the most tallies on the board. So you have a good amount of experience. So don't sell yourself short.
Cool. Appreciate it. But I would love to hear what you guys are doing on a daily, because even we did a cold calling, role playing, with Lisette, one of our managers here in Lake Nona. And I realized that where I'm really bad at is the pain points, reminding these sellers why they're really, their motivation, and digging in there and making them say it so that they realize that they need our help. And that is where I'm slacking. So I feel like if I can start doing that, it will definitely help me.
Well, which is why, another reason why I'm glad that Alexis is on this call. Alexis is a like a brother to me, close friend. He's also my team member on the Bet Group. And both of us, we call for sale by owners on a weekly basis. We've been able to obtain multiple listings by doing so. Alexis, you want to touch on those pain points just a minute? I can't hear you.
Ooh, finally, we got Alexis on.
Let me see. I can't hear you. You are unmuted.
Let me see.
There we go. Now I hear you.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Does it sound good or not really? I wasn't really prepared to talk,
Sounds
but
good.
we'll do
good.
it. I like what you touched on first about the motivation. We really got to figure out whether or not these people are actually motivated to sell or not. And then we got to figure out what their actual pain point is. They're going to tell you XYZ on the call. Oh, I had a bad experience. I don't want to pay commission, or whatever they might say. I have a brother or a sister that's a realtor. Usually at the end of the day, their main objective is to just make the most amount of money possible, right? whether they had a bad experience, whether they don't want to pay commission, whether they have a family or friend or as a realtor, if you can prove to them that some way possible, you can make them more money at the end of the day, then they'll at least consider sitting down with you. Once you get a sit down, that's a whole nother training, a listing appointment presentation. But really just figuring out what script works for you in your market. I mean, in Miami, it's completely different than probably Orlando, because the people here are Cuban, there's Venezuelans, there's Colombians, there's Spanish speakers. I'm not sure what the demographic is in Orlando, but it's really about trial and error, talking to as many of these people as you can on a daily basis and finding out those pain points. Just have a conversation. Don't call them with a script. Don't call them and sound like everybody else. Hey, Mr. Seller, are you the property owner at 123450? Like, just call them naturally. Hey, you know, I'm calling around. Just wanted to see if you guys are willing to cooperate with realtors. Tell me a little bit more about what you're trying to do with your property. You know, how are you trying to sell this? Obviously, I see you're a for sale by owner. Give me a little bit more of an idea as to why you're opposed to using a realtor, and then just let them talk. They're going to talk. And from there, we try to find those pain points. And every time they give us an objection, we got to just make sure, hey, Mr. Seller, at the end of the day, you're trying to make sure you make the most amount of money possible, right? So if there was a way that I can make that happen for you, would you be willing to sit down with me and then see where that goes from there?
Thank you, Alexis. Let me see here. Okay, so yeah, the pain points, the objections, understanding what is preventing them from listing. And sometimes it could be as simple as, you know, I have a brother or sister who's a real estate agent, and you know, I promised them that if I were to list it with anyone, it would be them. And when they have a close family member or friend that's a realtor, I will say you can still end up getting the listing if you push hard enough, or if, you know, you show enough value. You know, maybe their brother who's an agent doesn't necessarily practice real estate, and they know that, and you're here showing a ton of value, then you can still end up getting the listing. But sometimes it's hard when they have a family member or a close friend that's an agent, because that agent is in their ear too, you know, waiting for them to get frustrated to list with them. So really quick, that was a small, I was just waiting for everybody to join in. We have 41 people on here. I want to tell you right now that I was not expecting Juliana to put the Zoom in the lifestyle chat. Okay. I thought it was just going to be Lake Nona office. So I don't have this fancy and pretty presentation or anything like that. I'm here to just give it to you, you know, very real, very transparent, talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and answer any questions that you may have. And if time permits, I would like to make about maybe 1 or 2 calls on the Zoom live to see what we can do, and then you guys can ask questions and stuff like that. So intro about me and who I am. I've been with Lifestyle about 4 or 5 years now. I'd say about 4 years. I started off with Lifestyle as a recruiter. Okay. Recruited a ton of agents to the brokerage, to different offices and stuff like that. Ended up getting my license. What else? Ended up joining the #1 team at Lifestyle as well. Shout out to the Bet Group. I see Levon Beck is on, which makes me even more nervous. But hey, you know what? He's always watching what I'm doing.
No pressure, buddy.
Good morning. Good morning.
I managed Zillow leads for a ton of top producers outside of this brokerage and in this brokerage, for Leslie Marino, Dennis Bernal, Levon Beck, Manny from the Kendall office, Miguel Rodriguez. I managed Zillow leads for a while for them, setting up the showings, answering text messages, phone calls, and emails. And I have been now when I started, the majority of, you know, I work together with my wife as well. The majority of our business came from, you know, Zillow leads, buyers, you know, and now I realized, you know, as time went by, I realized I cannot just wait. And we cannot just wait for a lead to be handed to us. We cannot wait for a lead to just be handed to us. I know it's easy when someone says, here's a $500,000 lead. They're already pre-approved. Go ahead and shop for homes, submit an offer, and get paid. And even there's a lot of agents that are even happy. They're happy just making, 50% off a lead that was handed to them, but I realized, the lead started slowing down a little bit. And I was like, wait, man, I need to figure this out. So I shifted my mentality, number one, because everything starts with your mentality and how you think. And I shifted what I was doing in my focus to for sale by owners and trying to obtain listings. To this day, we've closed, multiple for sale by owners between last year and this year. And sometimes, like the one we just closed 2 days ago, sometimes it can end up being like a three-part transaction because of that one for sale by owner. For example, I had called this for sale by owner. I was following up for about 70 days. Okay. That's another thing I'll touch on in a little bit, that don't think that you're going to get a listing off that first call. It does not work like that. I have gotten a listing off the first call, but those times I think are fading away from us. You have to really, really, stick out and follow up. But you're not going to get a listing right away. You have to continue following up, and it takes time. This takes time. So if you're trying to make a quick dollar, then you're better off working some rentals and closing in 2 weeks, and that's it. But if you stick through it for the long haul, then you'll see that the reward is there. The example I was trying to give, so the for sale by owner we just closed, we ended up hosting an open house for the for sale by owner. Okay, an unrepresented buyer passed by the open house and submitted and they wanted us to submit to the owner a pretty good offer. Okay, and so that was a double rep. That was the seller, that was the buyer. And then the seller needed to purchase a house in Naples as well. So that was a three-part, transaction there, all from calling one for sale by owner. Well, I mean, I called multiple, but all from one lead, one seller. So the opportunities to even make more money are there. So that's as far as who I am. Now, one of the main things in this, whether if you do not have, not everybody has Vulcan, or they're just getting started out in real estate, or not everybody has Mojo Dialer and stuff like that. So the easy way, if you are on your laptop or you're taking notes or whatever, and again, I have never been one to hold on to secrets or strategies or anything like that, because at the end of the day, I can give you the recipe, but it's up to you to cook. If you don't cook, and if you don't get in the kitchen and cook, then, the recipe is just sitting there and you're not going to do anything with it. So I am open to answering anybody's questions. I am open to showing you a few things that have worked for me. One of the first things that I want everybody to do or write down, if you don't have access to your computer at the moment, is, let me see if I can share my screen with you. Okay. Share screen. Okay, I want everybody to go to Zillow.com. Is everybody on? Well, okay. So that's the first step, going to Zillow.com and making sure. So the purpose of this is making sure that your alerts are set up on your phone. Okay. Making sure that your alerts are set up on your phone. Now, what do you mean by that? So basically, if I go to buy, can everybody see my screen, by the way?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
cool.
Yeah.
So if I go to Zillow.com and I go to for sale and I go down to here more and I click buy owner, all I want to do is see properties that are listed by owner. Okay. any properties that are listed by owner. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this and I'm going to do this again. I'm going to set this up from, let's say, Cutler Bay area. I'm going to set up the areas of for sale by owners that I want to get notified from. So real estate and homes for sale, and I'm going to save search. When you save search, it's going to ask you, how often do you want an email showing that a for sale by owner has hit the market? I am going to put instant, okay? And based on your profile, it's going to get emailed to you right away. As soon as a for sale by owner gets hits the market in an area that you are interested in or an area that you would like to work or whatever, it's going to send you an email right away. So for example, this is extremely important. Why is this important? The reason that this is important is because usually the calls that go really well for me are the calls where I'm one of the first people to call. Okay. If I call them maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks later after they've hit the market, can anybody other than Alexis and Levon, can anybody tell me what would happen if I'm calling them 2 or 3 weeks after the market and what that call would look like?
They're
You're
super
going to be the
upset.
100th person to call them. They're going to be annoyed.
Exactly. You are the 105th person, realtor, to give them a call, and they're already like, what do you want? Are you a realtor? Before you even say hello, and you're like, I'm calling about, are you a realtor? Oh, listen, I'm not working with realtors. They're hanging up right away. So it is so important to be one of the first people to call. I realized that early in the game, where I was just calling for sale by owners that had, hey, look, a for sale by owner, I'll call. And then I see days on market, 21 days, they're already so annoyed and so frustrated. So the key to having a nice conversation, one of the factors is being one of the first people to call. Okay, because then they're open to listening to you. They haven't heard a bunch of realtors and stuff like that right away. So how do we make sure that we're one of the first people to call? Well, number one, have your email alert set up so that you get notified right away from Zillow. You can even go as far as setting up certain notifications on your iPhone, where as soon as you get an email, and even if your phone is locked, it pops up right in the front saying new listing for sale by owner, hit the market for $499 by owner. And then you scroll down and you'll be able to see their property phone number, the phone number for the property owner. So this one's been on the market 2 days, not too bad. So this is a for sale by owner. Okay. I would scroll down, and I'm just doing this, just for anyone who has never called for sale by owners before. You scroll down all the way to the bottom and there's their phone number, property owner. Everyone follow so far? Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
Okay.
we're good.
cool.
I have a,
Go ahead.
I'm trying to get to that for sale by owner. You said when you go to more,
Correct.
and then I got kind of lost from there.
You go to
Remember.
more and you uncheck agent listed, new construction, foreclosures, auction, foreclosed, pre-foreclosures. And the only thing you're going to leave checked is owner posted.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
And I'm really beating myself up right now because yesterday I called about 75 for sale by owners. And sometimes, and I did it on an auto dialer, guys, by the way. I wasn't like going one by one. That would have taken me all day. But if you have a dialer, if you want to look into a dialer, Vulcan works great. I can vouch for Vulcan. I can't vouch for Mojo or any other dialers. It works great. It calls them, back to back. You don't have to dial the number with your phone, with your finger. Like, it works really well, and you can get through the calls faster. You can get through anybody who doesn't answer the phone. You can get through it much faster. And then you have a space to type your notes. So one of the things that I wanted to mention, so that's the Zillow setup. That's setting up your notifications so that you get notified right away. One of the things that I wanted to, so these are all leads, okay? All of them are leads. And whether you're using a notepad or any CRM, I personally use Follow Up Boss. That's what my team provides. Even if you're not part of a team or anything like that, Follow Up Boss is very affordable. It's like $75, $100 a month, and you can text from there, you can email from there, you can send blasts, email campaigns and stuff like that, and you can categorize your leads and stuff like that. And as far as categorizing your leads, so these are all leads. Okay, just because I speak to someone on the phone and they answer the phone does not make them a hot lead. Okay, now when I'm talking to them and we're going through the motions, and I'm asking the questions, and they're telling me, that they don't have any rush in selling or whatever they're telling me, and they tell me, hey, look, you know what? Yeah, I don't mind if you follow up in about 3 to 4 weeks to see how I'm doing with the sale. If they agree to you contacting them again, or you guys had a great conversation and they say, yeah, you know what, send me a text with your information, then now that goes from a lead to a hot prospect. That's how I categorize my leads. It goes from a lead to a hot prospect. And if I go to I'm not going to really, I don't want to show all my leads, but I have certain, it changes.
You can blur it out if you want.
You can change the categories. No, I mean, again, I can give you the recipe. You gotta want to cook. So I changed the categories from lead to hot prospect, and I write my notes. In this case, I spoke to seller. She stated that the realtor is lying to her, telling her he has clients faking calls from buyers and isn't doing anything. I told her she already told him. She already told him she wanted to cancel, and that we can have our attorney reach out to. I mean, this is an example of my notes, okay? And the reason why I write notes so detailed is because I speak to so many people on a daily basis sometimes that it's hard to remember every conversation. So if I have notes, hey, he said he's moving to Naples, he's military, if I have notes, it helps me remember, okay? So that's the Zillow setup. Make sure that you have, if you really want to get into this, if you really want to get into calling for sale by owners, then this is one of the first steps to starting, your journey with for sale by owners, is making sure that you are the first one to call, making sure that you are notified as soon as the property hits the market. Okay. That's one of the first things. Now, if you have a great conversation, then now that lead turns into a hot prospect. So wherever you track your leads, whether it be a notepad, Follow Up Boss, or Boomtown, or any CRM that you're using, you put it in that system. I take the time when I'm done with my calls, I have a notepad on my desk at all times. And while I'm on the phone, I'm writing notes and stuff like that. I'm writing the person's name. And as soon as I'm done with the call, I'll add them to my CRM if the call went great, so that I remember to follow up and I can schedule reminders and stuff like that. And I'm able to look at my notes. Okay. So that is the first thing. Now, let me see here. Actually, this one doesn't look too bad. Any questions so far?
No, well, hey, I
Yeah.
have a few questions.
Yeah. hit me.
I'm gonna hit you. Okay, so first, I'm wondering, what are you doing on the computer while you're on the phone when you get these sellers? Because normally, you want to kind of do some research on the property at that point, but like, do you do anything specific? Do you go to any RPR or anything specific at that point?
That's a great question.
All right, go ahead.
So when I'm on the phone with them, a lot of agents, and I see it time and time again, a lot of agents struggle with what I like to call paralysis by analysis. Okay. So you want to know everything that you can possibly know about the property owner, and everything before you make the call. Okay. And I get that. I understand you want to run comps, you want to prepare yourself, you want to be ready just in case you're asked any questions. However, if you spend an hour and 20 minutes, researching a property and doing comps and like, oh my gosh, where, when did they buy? How much did they buy it for? Oh my gosh, they have so much equity. Then you're going to end up making probably one call, or 2-3 calls in like 2 hours, So me personally, I don't look up any information, and I'm not running comps until I have the seller on the phone, until I know that it might be worth my time, and I get it. We're, oh no, I don't have the comps. I don't know if they're overpriced. The point of the phone call is to get the appointment. That's it. That is the only point of the phone call, to introduce yourself and to get the appointment. Don't try to talk numbers over the phone. Don't tell them that, they're overpriced over the phone. Don't, you're selling yourself short, and you're talking yourself out of, actually making the call, and you're going to end up like setting yourself up for failure, or you're just going to piss off a seller. Better put, you're just going to piss them off. So imagine you meet somebody for the first time, and you want to get to know them. It's just like dating. I mean, I've been with my wife for 17 years, so I'm not in the dating scene, but from my friends and stuff like that, it's just like you meet somebody. You're not going to tell them as soon as you meet them, hey, really, I'm not too sure about, where you work. I'm not too sure about your goals. I don't really like the way that you dress. I don't really like, you're going to turn them off, and they're going to hang up the phone on you right away. Okay. You get to know, all you want to do on the phone is get the appointment. The purpose of the phone call is to get the appointment. Don't tell a seller that he's overpriced over the phone. Don't go over comps too much over the phone. That all you're trying to do is get into the door and have them give you an opportunity to earn their business. That's it. So while I'm on the phone to answer Jennifer's questions, when I get them on the phone, at that point, and if you can still see my screen, at that point, while they're talking and I'm asking questions, and I'm going to get into the phone calls now, but while I'm on the phone, I'm going to property records. Okay. I'm looking up that it's a 3.2, 1,700 square feet with a 7,500 square foot lot. Okay. Then oh yeah, I built the house and this, and I bought the house, and I did the kitchen, and I did the upgrades, and I did all of that. Then I'm going right here, as this is while they're talking, and while, and it takes time to, I guess, get good at multitasking, but while they're on the phone, I'm looking at the properties I have sold within a quarter mile in the last 6 months. And I have property records open. I have my MLS open, and I'm looking at, so this guy's listed at 650. The highest sold house is at 630. His is the subject house is a bit bigger in size when it comes to the square footage, and it is remodeled. And then we're looking at this one. I'm looking at everything once I have them on the phone. So that's what I'm doing. Does that answer your question, Jennifer?
Sure. Yes, it does. Thank you. I have another one.
Hit me.
All right. So I just wondering, when you're doing these calls, obviously there's a lot of follow-up, so do you have a strategy, anything specific? Are you phone calling, texting, emailing? How many times? What's like the repetition that you're doing there?
Yeah. I heard Carl Hewitt from the lab say something one time, and it's so true. You have to hit these sellers land, air, and sea. Okay. That means phone call, text messages, and emails. And sometimes after I meet them, I may not get the first appointment. I may not get the listing on the first appointment. It's very rare that you get the listing on the first appointment. But after I meet them, I am sending them this, I don't know if you can see it. I'm sending them this postcard that has me and my wife's face on it, okay? And it's a simple postcard. And I've heard people put like a lottery scratch off ticket in it or a coupon for Chick-fil-A or whatever. Sometimes I'll just send the card itself. I have stamps on my desk. And after I meet them, I'm sending them this, I don't know if you guys can see it, this small postcard that, anyways, it has my contact information and it says, thank you for giving us the time to discuss the value of your home the other day. We appreciate your time. We hope that you can keep us in mind if you ever need help selling your home and purchasing a new one. Hope to hear from you soon. So I'm texting them, I'm calling them, I'm emailing them. And if I meet them, they're getting something in the mail from me as well. Okay. Now, do I remember to do that with each one? No. Sometimes I get too busy, but for the most part, I do send them in the mail just so that I am at the top of mind when they do decide to list with an agent. Okay, so I have the first conversation. I call them. We have a good conversation. A good conversation, I would say, is about 10 to 15 minutes or more. If the conversation is like a 2-minute conversation, then there was probably not too much substance in that conversation. But a good conversation will last 10, 15 minutes or more. And then if they say, no, I'm not ready to meet with an agent, at that point, I'm like, okay, cool. Is it okay if I follow up with you in about 3 to 4 weeks just to see how you're doing? Yes, that's fine. Boom. Let's say it's Monday. I hang up the phone. On Wednesday, I hang up the phone and I'm sending them a text message. Hey, pleasure speaking with you. Pleasure speaking with you. Thank you for giving me the time on the phone. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. We will keep in touch. That's on Monday. Okay. On Wednesday, if I was able to get their email, I'm sending them an email. On Friday, one of the things, and yes, I know that at the beginning, I said that I'll follow up with you in 3 to 4 weeks, but no, I'm following up way sooner. Okay. On Friday, I'm sending them a text message saying, one of the things that I started doing is on Friday, I'm sending them a text message, say, hey, there's a lot of open houses being hosted this weekend. I know that your house is for sale. If you're interested in, if you're going to be hosting an open house, please let me know if you need open house signs, flags, waters, cookies, or anything for your open house. And I'll be more than happy to drop that stuff off for you to host the open house. And I'm following up until they tell me to go screw myself and to just leave me alone, stop calling. I'm following up every single week. Okay. I have gotten listings from people that I followed up with for 2 years. The other, about last month, there's a neighbor in my neighborhood that I was calling literally once a quarter because I understood her timeline. But I was calling her once a quarter. I was sending her text messages. And finally, she called me and said, hey, Noel, let's put the house on the market. That was 2 years. Okay. The one that I just closed on a couple days ago, I was following up with her for about 70 days before she gave me the opportunity. Sometimes it's sooner than that. Sometimes it's longer than that. But it's all in the follow-up. 100%. It's all in the follow-up. If you don't like following up, or if you're scared to pick up the phone and follow up, then this for sale by owners is not for you. Maybe you can do commercial real estate. Maybe you can do something else. Maybe you're a better buyer's agent. But if you have to break the fear of following up, or, oh, I don't want to bother them. I don't want to, I don't know what to say. You have to figure out what you want to say. You have to figure out, how to get that person on the phone, and don't be scared of the follow-up. Questions?
Do you have a script that you use?
Absolutely not. Okay. And I'll tell you why. I have what I like to call guides, and I don't like to use scripts. I've never used scripts ever. And I've been in sales for many, many years in different industries and stuff like that. And I've never used scripts. I don't like to use scripts because if the prospect throws something at you that's not on that script, you start malfunctioning like a computer who just got water poured on you, like, zzz, you know, like you're gonna be like, oh my, what do I say now? What do I do? Oh my God, that's not on the script, you know? So I like to use guides. Let me put this, a person that I follow on a daily basis. I watch all of their videos and I give a lot of credit to this person. And one day if I get to meet them, I will tell them thank you for everything that you teach agents. Brandon Morenin, okay? Brandon Morenin is like a FSBO for sale by owner guru. And he has his scripts and his guides for free online. So if everybody, let me write that in the chat. You guys can look this guy up on YouTube. You guys can look him up. Oh man, there's, let me see. Let me check the chat out really quick. I created a, okay, straightforward, holding on. Glad we get this on to for some reason. I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat. Want to make sure I answer everybody's questions. What can we get a copy on the Zoom? It should be on the LIR site once it's over. What's the name of the website for the contacts? The website for sale by owners is Zillow.com. Let's see, follow-up boss, reasonably priced. How far are we supposed to go when running comps, distance-wise? I like to start within a quarter mile, which is closest to the subject property. If there aren't any comps within a quarter mile, then obviously you got to go a little further out, go half a mile. But I like to start with properties that are closest to the subject property. What's in the email? Okay, as far as what's in the email, you know, I'll say, hey, it was a pleasure speaking to you the other day. I just wanted to know if you had any questions in regarding selling your home. You know, very simple. All you want to do is a touch. It's a soft touch to be so that you're top of mind when you're, you know, speaking to the seller. When you're top of mind whenever they decide to list with somebody. You know, so it's text, it's email, it's phone calls. I have sellers that have not listed with me that if I call till this day, and I've been talking to them for months, they already know me by name. They know my voice, they know who I am. And it's because I've contacted them so many times that they already know who I am. Again, it's all in the follow-up. They already know that I'm a real estate professional. They know that my follow-up game is strong. They know that I want their business. They know that I'm checking in on them. Hey, you know, Carlos, how are you? How's everything? Oh, no, everything's good, man. No, we're still not ready. We're off the market right now, but, you know, I'm gonna keep you posted. Okay, hey, how's the wife doing? I know you told me she was in the hospital a couple days ago. Last time we spoke, how's she feeling? How's she doing? Oh man, she's feeling much better, bro. Thank you so much for asking. And that's it. You always try to find something that they said on the first conversation so that you can ask about that on the next conversation. It helps with your follow-up and it helps it with being less robotic, you know, and salesy. Let me see. Okay, I answered all those questions there. Any other questions before I move on? And as far as the script, again, I don't use a script because I don't like to sound robotic. And if I'm throwing something, I want to be able to answer off the top. So I rather use like a guide. And the first thing I ask when I'm calling a for sale by owner is I'm looking at the listing on Zillow, right? Okay, first of all, these look like professional pictures. So that tells me that this seller may have access to an agent or a photographer who does real estate photography. Okay, so one of the first things that I'm doing is I'm looking at the description while the phone is ringing. I'm looking at the description. And I am looking for anything that, now this person put everything in here. It's a very long description. But I am looking for anything that they didn't put on here. Why? Because it's something that I can ask about when I'm on the phone with them. Does that make sense? Everybody with me?
Yes. Noel, I have a question.
Sure.
This is Dagmara again. when you've reached out to them on Fridays, like you said, and asked if you need flags, blah, 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 for the open house, etc., have you actually had any of them say, yes, I need this or I need that? And how did that go, if you don't mind?
No, none of them have taken up my offer as far as flags go. Now, this is what I want you guys to understand is it's not, if they say yes, you know what? Hey, I'm showing up with like a flag. I'm showing up with 10 open house signs. I'm showing up with everything, and I'm going to offer to host it for free. But the point of that, you got to understand the point of you saying that. The point of that is so that they understand that they can use you as a resource whenever they need help for anything. Now, and the other point of it is to make sure that they remember who you are. They remember that you're an agent. It's just another reason to follow up. Does that make sense?
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. So back to while I'm on the phone with them, what I'm doing right away is I'm looking at the description for anything that they didn't include in here. So this guy put property has beautiful terrazzo floors throughout, central AC and heater from 2016. If he wouldn't have put AC from 2016 and it has just, you know, a very short description, and I'll go to another one so you guys can see an example. Sometimes people don't put anything on the description. Let me see here. This one has a long description too, but whatever's not on the description, if it doesn't say that it has impact doors and windows, if it doesn't talk about the roof, that's one of the things that I'm asking to get them talking about their house. Everybody loves to talk about their house and how much money they put into it and how they installed the pool and now the family loves it and the grandma does backflips off the diving board. I mean, everybody loves to talk about their house. So you want to get them talking about their house so that you can build that rapport and make them comfortable talking to you. So if it's not on there, I'll say, oh yeah, am I speaking to the owner of? Yes, I am. Okay, great. My name is Noel. I am a real estate agent here in Miami. I just had a few quick questions for you. Is it okay if I ask you a few questions? You want them in the habit of saying yes. Okay. Is it okay if I ask you a few questions in regards to the home? Sure. Yeah, go ahead. Perfect. They said yes. What's the age of the roof? Oh, the age of the roof. I did the roof in 2017. You know, I mean, it cost me about $45,000. And I also did the kitchen, and you know, we have marble floors and we did a backsplash. It came out beautiful. My wife loves. Okay, excellent, excellent. What's the age of the AC, if you don't mind me asking? The AC is such and such. Okay. Now, are you paying a commission to an agent who brings you a buyer? And I say it that way because a lot of sellers don't understand. A lot of sellers are willing to pay a commission to a buyer's agent, but they don't understand the terminology and the verbiage that, you know, they think that you're asking that and you're trying to list the house. But all you're asking is, are you paying a commission that's willing to bring to an agent who's willing to bring you a buyer? That's all you're asking. Yes, I am. I'll pay a commission, no problem. Okay, great. When they tell me that they're willing to pay a commission to an agent who brings them a buyer, for me, in my mind, I won half the battle, because they're already understanding that they're going to have to pay an agent, whether it's me or someone else. Okay, so in my mind, I won half the battle. So I'm like, boom, that's great. Okay, great. What's the percentage that you're willing to pay? Well, I'm willing to pay 3%, or I'm willing to pay 2.5%. Okay, excellent. Now, let me tell you a little bit about myself. Every agent has their thing that they focus on, whether it be really, you know, investments, fix and flips, commercial real estate, rentals, you know, whatever, and or working with buyers. What I focus on primarily, this is what I tell all sellers. My primary focus and what I specialize in are for sale by owners on Zillow. Okay, I have a track record to prove it. I have sold multiple homes that were originally for sale by owners on Zillow. Okay, and I have been able to get them more money than what they thought that they can get when they were, you know, listing for sale by owners. Before I continue, any questions with that?
And of course, Dagmara again, newbie here.
No, I
Newbie,
love all the
newbie for
questions. Go
you.
ahead.
So in my case, I've only sold one listing. I've only had one. So in the case of, for us, the newbies, how would you recommend that we can sell ourselves in a way, for lack of a better word? I mean, I can go and say I'm a property manager. I used to manage condominiums and HOAs for over 30 years, but that, I don't know if that it's something that would be
Okay, so
beneficial.
yeah, great question. And I've heard that a lot. Two things. What office are you a part of?
Miami Lakes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll get to that. And the second thing, are for sale by owners on Zillow something that you would like to specialize in?
Yes, and there's quite a few around where I live right now, as a matter of fact. I've
Yeah.
reached out to a couple of them, and there was one that I got a lead, but I'm recovering. Now it's when I have a better voice, but I was completely gone over the weekend. So I reached out to Rob to help me out on that. I'm working on that.
Okay. Now, as a new agent, let's say you have no listings, you've never sold a property ever, okay? You still specialize with for sale by owners on Zillow because you're sitting here in this training trying to learn more about it. You've read up on it. You've tried to call a few. You specialize with for sale by owners on Zillow. So that's the first thing that you're going to tell a seller. Hey, listen, I specialize with for sale by owners on Zillow. This is what I do. This is what I've researched. This is my job. Okay. Then the second thing that you're going to do is you're going to use your office's sales as leverage to be able to get you into the door and give you more confidence. So look up how many listings Miami Lakes has at the moment, or how many listings Lifestyle has. You can go on the MLS and go to my company's listings and be like, listen, at the moment, we have over 70 listings from sellers that we're helping right now. We have sold over $2 billion in real estate. Okay, so I know a little bit about what I'm doing and how to do it. So you're a for sale by owner specialist, okay? And use your office sales. If you're part of a team, use your team sales. If you haven't sold anything in that neighborhood, find an agent in the brokerage that has, okay, and use their sales. There's nothing wrong with using your team or your office's sales as leverage to help you, you know, give you that push and that confidence to be able to, I guess, have a seller, you know, feel comfortable talking to you. Does that answer the question?
Absolutely, 100%. Thank you so much, Noel. I appreciate it.
No problem. Any other questions before I continue? I think somebody had their hand raised. Just got a $1.2 million listing appointment in Redlands mid-Zoom. Amazing. Congratulations, Louis. That's great. How far are we? Okay. Yeah, so so the first thing I'm doing is I'm introducing myself. When I make a phone call, the first thing I say is, hey, my name is Noel. I am a real estate agent here in this area. Am I speaking to the owner of 9400 Southwest? Yes, you are. But listen, I'm not working with realtors. That's fine. I just had a few questions about the home. Whatever objections they give you, it's like a battle. You have to be able to like dodge and weave and answer quickly. And you're not going to get it overnight. The only way that you're going to get familiar with the objections and how to handle them, I can talk and I can help you, you know, give you all the tools and everything that you may need, and all the information. I can talk until I'm blue in the face, but the only way that you're going to learn how to handle objections is by getting on the phone. Okay, getting on the phone and actually doing it. You are not going to be prepared for every objection, ever. Even to this point, I hear things and I'm like, wait, what did he say? And it kind of gets me stuck a little bit. You know, you have to get on the phone to be able to familiarize yourself with the objections and know how to handle them. But it's like, no matter what they say, like okay, one of the things that I try to do is I try to get the appointment, as I said at the beginning. When they tell me, when I tell them, hey, okay, great. So can I stop by? What time works best for me to stop by? Either today or tomorrow. And they say, oh, well, I'm not really looking to meet with anybody for a couple weeks. I'm saying, okay, well, what works best? Does Thursday work best for you? I'm like completely like acting like I'm acting like they didn't just say that. I'm completely disregarding it, and I'm trying everything I can to get the appointment for this week. Does that make sense? Questions on that? Okay. So I'm introducing myself. I'm asking questions about the home, and I'm looking at the description, asking anything that's not on there. Whatever's not on there, whatever they did not put on the description, I'm asking questions about it. If they didn't say anything about the roof, I'm asking about the roof. If they didn't say anything about the AC, I'm asking about the AC. Okay. And then once I feel like they're wrapping up, like they're finishing, like talking about their home, at that point I say, okay, well, a little bit about what I do and who I am. Thank you for telling me everything about yourself and the home. My name is Noel. I specialize with Zillow for sale by owners. And we have sold a ton of homes, in the last couple months that were for sale by owners on Zillow. And we ended up getting them more money than what they thought that they can get. Okay. I'm not here. I tell all sellers, I'm very, very transparent. I'm very honest. And a lot of sellers appreciate it. A lot of sellers are, kind of thrown back by it. And I tell sellers, hey, look, you may not be the best fit for me. I may not be the best fit for you, but we're not going to know until we meet each other and get to know each other. And I can show you what I'm trying to do. You may want $100,000 over what the property is worth. And me, I'm not taking an overpriced listing. So we may not be the best fit for each other. You create that doubt in a seller's mind, like, damn, like, so maybe he doesn't want to work with me. Then they're like, oh, well, maybe we should meet, So I tell them, we may not be the best fit for you. And I also I tell every seller I'm on the phone with, I am not here to finesse you. I'm sure you've been bombarded with agents trying to sell you a dream. I'm not here to bullshit you. I talk to them very, very transparent, very blunt, very clear. And they appreciate that. That's been my experience. Sellers appreciate when you're being honest. And I've been able to get so many appointments by just being honest and transparent. And I'm very direct with them. And I tell them, I just want an opportunity to earn your business. I've done this time and time before. Okay. I have experience doing it. I know how to do it. And I know what it takes to get the home sold and sold quickly. All I want is an opportunity to earn your business. So what time works best today? 5 or 6? Again, remember that the purpose of the phone call is to get the appointment. While they're talking, while you're looking at the comps, while you're looking at the description, while you're looking at everything, the purpose of the phone call is to get the appointment. Don't overthink it. Don't get paralysis by analysis and try to learn everything before you make the call, and then you end up not making the call. You just make the call, and the purpose is to get the appointment. Okay? Questions up to now?
Hey, Noel, I do have a question. So when you say appointment, are you referring to listing appointment or like a preview of the home? Because that's what I've been able to get. So, normally when I'm having these conversations, I'm saying what you're saying, which is great, like, hey, are you working with a buyer's agent, and trying to open up that conversation. When they say yes, then I'm trying to set an appointment to preview the home, or maybe bring, or maybe somebody in my CRM is qualified, that might match to this house. So I'm always able to like get that initial appointment, but it's never a listing appointment.
I think that is great for, and Brandon Morenin, the coach that I talked about earlier, he talks about this as well. preview appointments, there's preview appointments and there's listing appointments. If I wanted to, right now, I can schedule 20 preview appointments. Why? Because I'm calling the seller and I say, hey, I just want to preview the home. I want to look at the home, take some pictures, take some video, just in case I may have a buyer who is interested in it. Okay. Yes, of course, you're going to get the appointment because that is the script, that is the verbiage, that's the wording that you use. But if you're clear with a seller on what do we want? We want the listing, right? So let's be clear, let's be real, let's be honest. Hey, listen, I want to come over to show you exactly how I sell these homes on a monthly basis. I want to talk to you so that in 3-4 weeks, if you don't sell the home, I'm the first person that you think about just in case you want to list with an agent. I'm not bringing a contract. I don't bring contracts with me on the listing appointments when I go meet a seller. I do not, because I'm not, trying to be salesy or a sales shark, waving a contract in the client's face. Hey, you got to sign right here. You got to sign right. No, I am building a relationship. So yes, you can get preview appointments, but I'd rather be honest and transparent with sellers and tell them exactly why I'm coming over. So that way they already have it in their head that I'm not here to play games. I'm here to show them exactly what I do to sell homes on a monthly basis, how I do it, and build a relationship with them where we're walking through the house. As soon as I walk in the house, I'm like, nice to meet you. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And I'm like, okay, sell me your home. Show me your home. Sell it to me. I tell them just like that. Okay, sell me the home. Pretend I'm a buyer. And now I put them in a position to point out things. Oh my gosh. And now as I'm playing the devil's advocate, I'm playing the buyer. I'm like, okay, well, what's that stain right there by the bathroom? Have you had a history of leaks? Oh, what's up with these cracked tiles? Okay, wow, the AC looks like it hasn't been serviced in quite some time. I'm giving them all these things and making them think like, oh man, I didn't think about that. So it creates the need for you. Does that make sense? So as far as preview versus listing appointment, yes, for new agents, I would highly recommend going on preview appointments. Why? That'll give you the experience of meeting in front of a complete stranger. It'll give you the experience of looking at homes that are being sold for sale by owner, and you can build a relationship with the seller and continue to follow up with them. But me personally, I'm at the point in my career where I don't want to waste time with preview appointments. I personally, I already have the experience, with previewing homes and stuff like that. So I rather be honest and transparent with sellers on why I'm coming over. And if they don't want me to come over at all, then I'm like, okay, cool. And I follow up in a couple days and I follow up and I follow up and I follow up and I follow up. And sometimes months will go by where I'm calling and they're like, hey, Noel, no, I haven't listed with an agent yet. Okay. You know what? Fine. Yeah. You know what? Come by. Cause I'm tired of getting all these calls. Come by until, I don't know if you guys, no, I don't want to use that reference because it's not, but the Wolf of Wall Street has a ton of sales references there, like quotes and stuff like that. But until either the client buys from you or tells you to just, kick rocks. I don't stop following up until you tell me to stop calling or you cuss me out. If I have you in my CRM, I am calling you and calling you and calling you and calling you and finding any reason to call you. Hey, John, I just wanted to give you a quick call. Happy 4th of July. What are you doing for the 4th of July? You guys going to barbecue or are you guys going to get in the pool, go to the beach? What's up? What are your plans? I'm finding any reason to follow up, any reason to talk to them. Hey, listen, Chris, I wanted to send you a text message because I was in your neighborhood and I thought about you, man. I hope you and the kids are doing okay. Let me know if you need anything. Any reason to follow up, say whatever, do anything. The point is to stay at the top of mind. Any other questions?
Of course, I'm going to ask a question. Dagmara again. So since when you go to that,
Talk to me.
when you go to the appointment,
Oh, I can't hear you.
can you hear me?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Now I hear you.
You can? Okay, okay.
Okay.
So when you go to the appointment, since you're not taking the listing agreement with you, what you do, you bring a presentation of, like a PowerPoint presentation or something like that, and then if you agree to something, then you do another appointment for the listing, or you email it? Curious.
I used to, yeah, now, we'll e-sign the listing agreements if they want to rock and roll right away. I used to print like 30 pages of a listing presentation. And that is like every agent's like, question. Oh, listing presentation, the listing presentation, the listing presentation. That is, I used to print, information about me, my history, everything. I used to print all of that. The comps, the property records, and I used to come with this packet as if we're in 1985, this packet of papers, and I'm sitting at the dining room table with them, and I'm saying, okay, let me show you some stuff, and I'm going through paper and paper and paper and paper, and that is so boring to a seller. I used to do that. Now, all I bring is my laptop. Now, all I bring is my laptop. Why? Because on my laptop, I bring like a small real estate resume, 1 page that has my wife and my face on it. And it says at the top, it says real estate agents, and it says Zillow for sale by owner specialist at the top. And I'm leaving that resume with them. But all I bring is my laptop. The resume will have a little bit about my company, a little bit about my wife and I, since we work together. And at the top, it says Zillow for sale by owner specialist. And it talks about, how we're listing specialists and we get sellers the most money for their homes and stuff like that. That's what it says. It's a 1-page thing. That's it. And I bring my laptop, and on my laptop, I connect my phone to my laptop, and on my laptop, I am showing them comps. On my laptop, I'm showing them our Zillow profile as a team, or you can, go to Lifestyles page. I'm showing them everything on my laptop. Why? Because I used to leave comps with sellers. And as soon as it's happened to me like 3 or 4 times, as soon as I would leave the house, I would see on Zillow that they had a price dropped. Okay, on their home, they decreased the price to exactly what I recommended the price should be, and they didn't hire me as their agent. So I'm giving them all the sauce, and they're not hiring me. So now I bring my resume, I bring my laptop, and we go through everything on the laptop. The comps, our Zillow profiles, the neighborhoods, how many properties have sold nearby, how long they've been on the market. We're going through everything on my laptop. Does that answer your question, Dagmara?
Yes, it did. It does. Thank you so much, Noel. I've enjoyed this class or your Zoom very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Jasmine Cabral, raise her hand.
Hey, Noel, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So recently I've closed about 4 FSBOs.
Congrats. Wait.
but I'm not-
We got to give that a
yeah,
congrats. Congrats.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I'm not, I'm not stopping because obviously all these closings are from 3 months of work, like you said. I do believe in the 90-day rule, 30, 60, 90 day to follow up. I do have one FSBO that I'm working on now. It is $1 million listing. It's actually in Miami. And I have a question for you. So this FSBO, he's been approached by over 30 realtors. When I came to his house, he had a whole bunch of comps on his table. Like he told me, he wasn't messing around. However, he is willing to pay 3% to a buyer's agent. So I'm trying to see his objection with not listing with a realtor or on the MLS. And I'm, simply just asking you, what would you do if you were me in this position? He also said that he was going to pay like $300 to list on some website that list on the MLS.
Like a flat fee company.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I tell sellers, when they tell me I'm willing to pay a buyer's agent 3%, and I'm on Zillow, That's it.
Mhm.
I tell them, look, are you familiar with how Zillow's algorithm works? And they tell me, what do you mean? What do you mean? I put it on Zillow. I tell them, okay, look, the way that Zillow works, and you guys can test this for yourself. Zillow for sale by owner, whenever a seller puts a property on Zillow for sale by owner, okay, and there's a buyer looking in that neighborhood, the only properties that show up for sale are properties that are either listed with an agent or properties that have an agent that's paying for advertisement to Zillow. Zillow has no benefit, okay, in pushing your property and advertising your property to the top. And sometimes you can't even, if you're looking in a certain neighborhood, you can't even see a for sale by owner for sale. You have to go fix the criteria, you have to change it, and you have to filter it to show me for sale by owners as well. So that's one of the things that I tell sellers is that you're not getting all the exposure that you need on your listing. So how do you expect to find a buyer for your home if you're not getting maximum exposure? And I asked them that question. Oh, well, I mean, I'm in no rush. If I get a call, I get a call. Okay, but you're not going to get calls from buyers. The majority of the calls that you're going to receive are going to be from realtors trying to get the listing, trying to sell you a dream, trying to bombard you and tell you that they can get you $100,000 over asking. They're trying to just finesse you. That's the majority of the calls that you're going to receive if you already have it. Am I correct? Yeah, you're right. All the calls that I've received have been from agents. Okay, so you're not getting the exposure that you need. The majority of buyers working with a realtor. This is another thing that I tell them. The majority of buyers that are working with a realtor, okay, which is probably about 95, 97% of buyers that have an agent. The majority of buyers working with a realtor have a realtor sending them properties from the MLS. When we're looking for our buyers, when we're representing buyers, we're not on, I mean, if we absolutely cannot find anything, then maybe we're on Zillow looking for properties for the buyer and stuff like that. But the majority of the listings that we send our buyers are from the MLS. So even if you are willing to pay a buyer's agent 3%, because you're only listed on Zillow for sale by owner, not even an agent, a buyer's agent, is going to be able to see the listing. Does that make sense?
That was amazing. I'm about to make a call once we get off. I'm actually going to Miami this week just to visit him. Well, for personal and also to visit him and his family. I've created that rapport, like what you said. It's been about 40 days that I've been following up. I asked him about his wife's surgery, exactly what you said, because his wife did have surgery. And he was like, yeah, come pick up some avocados. So I think my next conversation, I think my thing, Noelle, is I don't like to feel like a pushy salesperson. I am not a salesperson. I'm a representative. The same way, if you were going to go to court, you want the best lawyer, you want a shark lawyer that is going to win your case. That is how I see myself as a real estate advisor. The problem is I guess sometimes I feel, if I approach them this way too aggressive, they feel like, I'm trying to sell them.
No. On the contrary, I like to make sellers feel, I like to make them question themselves. Like I go to the property and I see that it's so beautiful. It's remodeled. Oh my gosh, all the upgrades. I'm like, man, this house is great. Why are you selling it? Why are you selling it? And then they're like, because that makes them feel like you're on their side. You get what I'm saying? Like you're not sitting here like sell it, list it. I even tell sellers, and these are just small nuggets. Whether you list with me or you list with another agent, I think it's so important for you to list. Maybe I'm not the agent for you. Okay. Maybe it's another agent, because I mean that. I truly, honestly mean that. I don't think that for sale by owners are going to get the most money for their homes and the most exposure and professional listing by just listing for sale by owners. So I mean that. I say, hey, look, whether you list with me or you list with somebody else, that makes them think, damn, this guy's not even trying to like push me to list with him.
I like that. And it's funny that you say that. I actually had another FSBO here in Orlando, have a duplex under market value because I looked at the numbers. I'm like, hey, do you know, the house is worth, a little bit more in this price range? Oh, I didn't have an idea. Oh, have you ever tried to sit down and speak with a realtor? No, I've never spoken with a realtor. And you kind of also make them question themselves on why they need your services. So I definitely agree with that.
If I am on the phone with them and I'm running quick comps and I see that they are about $70,000, it's happened to me before. I see that they're about $50,000, $70,000 underpriced. That is one of the first things that I'm like throwing out there. And I'm like, listen, I need to meet with you. Oh, what do you mean? I need to meet with you. I can guarantee that I can sell the property for way more than what you're asking. Wait, but what do you mean? How? Listen, I know what I'm talking about. I have ran the numbers. I can get you more money than what you're asking, even after commissions are paid.
Yeah,
How does that
it's a
sound?
funny joke that I have because some of the agents that I do work with in the office, one of them being Jen, I make this comment how they don't want to pay realtors commission, but they have it underpriced 70K. So it's like you don't want to pay 20, 30K, but you're missing more than double of that, not having the services or representation. But thank you so much, Noel. I mean, everything you said, all these nuggets, I really appreciate it. I'm glad to be part of this team and, open to collaborating with whoever does want to collaborate, because I do think we all just got to take over. I do think all these FSBOs have to be listed.
Yeah. And I want them to be listed by us. No one else.
Lifestyle everywhere.
Get it, Jasmine?
Any other questions, guys? I know that this wasn't necessarily like the most formal training. I just wanted to give you guys nuggets on for sale by owners, and I wanted to be able to answer any questions that you guys may have. And even after this training, please hunt me down, text me, send me, find me on WhatsApp, find me on Instagram. My Instagram is _Noel Sells. Pretty easy. And if you have any questions or want to share your wins, you want to share your losses, you want to share your frustrations, I am here for it. Okay. So please don't be a stranger. Any last and final questions?
I think we should create like a Facebook page, just like Omi did with foreclosures, just for FSBOs.
Oh
Then
my
do it.
goodness,
I think that's a great
Jennifer.
idea.
Yes, you read my mind. I just want to
Lead-
clap. I just want to
Lead
clap.
the way,
Noel.
Jen. Oh, thank you, Dagmara. I appreciate it. Lead the way, Jen. Let me know if you need anything. Jasmine, you have your hand up again or no?
No, that was probably by accident.
Okay.
Let me just lower my hand. There you go.
Okay, guys. Well, that is going to conclude this Zoom. Thank you guys for joining and sticking through for about an hour and change. I really appreciate it. I thought there was going to be like 3 people on here. So, I'm good between 30 and 40. That's good. Much love to everybody. Rock on. Make at least 5 calls today to FSBOs. No, have 5 conversations. 5 conversations with sellers. 5 conversations with people you've never spoken to ever. If it takes 50 calls to get 5 conversations, then do it. But have 5 conversations today. And let me know how that goes. Keep me posted on your wins, your losses, everything. Okay, guys?
Thank you.
You're welcome, guys. Have a blessed day.
Thank you so much again, Noel.
You're welcome.